Welcome to Let's Plant Houses, the podcast where we talk to some incredible families sharing their journeys. So I'm your host, Wendy Ernson, and whether you're a parent, a caregiver, or someone just looking to learn, you're in the right place. So today, I have Mireya Martinez joining us on the show.
Hello.
So thank you for being here.
Oh, thank you for having me.
So excited today to hear about your story, Mireya.
Thank you.
So if you wouldn't mind, could you start by telling us a little bit about your family?
Absolutely. So, me personally, I have 3 brothers, and I'm the youngest, and I'm the only girl. So growing up in a house full of boys was pretty cool. But I got married when I was about 24 years old, and then I had 2 girls. Okay. I have my oldest, her name is Bianca, and my youngest is Brianna, and I was married and then we got divorced, but I've been with my girls ever since. And so, yeah, our family was small, but the village of people that I created around me has been amazing. So
that sounds very, very special.
Yes.
And so we talked before we had the interview today. We talked about Bianca.
Yes.
And so when did you wonder if something might be just a little bit different about Bianca?
You know, when Bianca, the whole pregnancy was different.
Okay.
Okay. It's my first child also, but I hear so many people talk about how their pregnancy was, and mine was totally different than all the ones that I have heard.
So tell me about it.
It was Bianca didn't hardly move. And at first I thought, oh my gosh, I thought I was going to have a baby that was not going to be born alive. Yeah. And every time we would go, the heartbeat was so strong, but she would never move inside of me. I found that to be strange. Other people may not, but I did.
Right.
And so the whole pregnancy, at the end though, it was pretty tough because at the end she wouldn't move at all. So we had to always make sure, and then I got toxemia inside of it. I always just knew something was off. I don't know how to explain it, but I had heard so many other people have pregnancies, and it was so totally different on what I was experiencing.
It was your intuition.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And so when Bianca was born, Bianca would sleep mostly all the time, and you would have to really work with her to be able to eat or to want to stay awake. And I thought that was different.
Yeah.
And people are like, you shouldn't complain. Oh my God, you got a great experience. You know, wow, we wish we slept, but that was worrying me. I think when you're supposed to hit those milestones, you start crawling or you start getting into things, Bianca didn't do those. And Bianca didn't crawl. She stood up and wanted to walk even before crawling. That to me was something was off. Okay. I just felt something was off. It wasn't until she was 6 months old that I noticed, without realizing, that you would call her and she would not acknowledge that you were calling her. She wouldn't acknowledge. And at first I thought it was hearing. I thought, oh my God, I got a deaf daughter.
Sure.
So I took her, did whole workup, impeccable hearing.
Okay.
So then I kept telling him something is wrong. And the doctor goes, take it easy. It's your first one. Come on.
So they always say
everybody
the first time
is different.
Yeah.
And I kept saying, something is wrong. So then she was on her tippy toes.
Okay.
She never put her heels down. So I just realized something is not right. And that's when I kind of said, no, I gotta investigate further.
Sure. So what happened next?
The thing about it is, through her whole first year, second year, so when she was 2 years old, she got very sick. She got a vaccine, the MMR.
Yeah.
The problem was, it wasn't that it was just one MMR. Unfortunately, the nurse at the time, a young lady, gave her 2 MMRs instead of 1.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. Yes. What we didn't know is that Bianca is definitely ill. She'll get definitely ill with mercury. Mercury is the basis of many of the vaccines. And we didn't know that at the time until that day. I said, something is wrong with her, and something is wrong. And I asked her, I said, you're not supposed to give her 2 MMR. It's 1. You don't do back-to-back. She goes, no, it's okay. I checked with the doctor. And all of a sudden, Bianca just started that day convulsing.
Oh my God.
Just out of the blue, convulsing. And I was, but I don't know what it is that God has given me, that whenever there's an emergency, I can stop for a minute to try to clearly think that I need to settle my emotions down and get some help. So I hurry up and I call 911, and they told me what she was doing. And while I'm telling her, and she's like, okay, are you calm? I go, yes, just tell me what to do.
Yeah.
And so we took off all her clothes and everything. So it seems that her fever hit so sky high in such an impact at once, and that caused the convulsions.
Yeah.
And so from there, then Bianca totally regressed. When I brought my girl back, it was from the hospital for a week. It was a totally different person. She wouldn't acknowledge, she wouldn't talk, she would just sit, she would look, and she would never look at you. She would look through you. And so all of that in conjunction, I said, no, something is wrong. Something is not right. But still the pediatrician, oh, that's just you.
Right.
It's okay.
Right.
So she was diagnosed later in life, what you would be diagnosed nowadays.
How old was she when she was diagnosed?
When she went to kindergarten.
Yeah.
That I told the doctor, I told the school teacher, I said, something's not right. And she says, okay, I'm going to take a look at her. The only thing is that I feel that God has always put people in this journey that I didn't know that was going to come before us. And the teacher has a brother who have autism.
Oh, okay. So she had some thoughts.
Yes.
Yeah, because she had experience.
Yes.
Okay.
And when the first week, she says, I know what your daughter has.
She couldn't say it, but she's like, but this is the path maybe you guys want to go down to figure out diagnosis.
100.
Yeah.
Because of school, and because she's a teacher and she's not a doctor. But she just said, your daughter has traits that I have seen in my brother, and you might want to just further look into this. And she said, because Bianca could not, she was just there in the classroom, but she was not participating as in other students.
Right.
And so, and that's how our journey started. The wonderful thing is, wherever Miss Saley is at today, I bless her soul, because she guided me and gave me phone numbers as to what to do next, so that we could just get the ball rolling and not wait any longer.
That's so hugely helpful.
Oh, God is good. Yes.
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 Absolutely. So once you had that diagnosis, how did your lives change, or did they?
Drastically.
Okay.
It changed drastically because in my personal life, my ex-husband couldn't deal with the fact of all of the appointments and everything.
Yeah.
So for a while, we tried to deal with it. Imagine you're going into this world and you're going into this place that you never thought existed. Because, you have a child, they're going to come, they're going to be fine. There was never a question of a doubt that anything was going to happen. Or what is this world of autism, this world of disability or mental health? It was never discussed, because that's not what that wasn't the plan.
That's
right. That's what we think. That wasn't the plan. When this whole new world opened up, I was just numb, is the word I want to use at first, because I was numb. I was going through the motions.
You were probably in shock.
Yes.
Yeah.
At first, I thought autism was a disease that it was, she was going to die from.
Yeah. Because you didn't know.
Because I did not know.
Yeah. And you just know you just know the name.
Yes. And then from there, I worked, I had a career in the federal government. And from that moment on, I stopped, because my world stopped. Because now I'm entering this world of the unknown, and I got to get educated. And what do I do? And the sleepless nights and the worries began.
Yeah.
And that's how our life changed. And then my ex-husband couldn't take it, and he left. He went on vacation and decided never to come back. And at that moment, my whole world came crashing down, because now I find myself alone, and I have 2 girls. One that is capable of, she's in kindergarten and she's flourishing and she's good. And now I have Bianca here sitting, and I'm like, what do I do?
Who probably needs extra support.
Yes,
This
ma'am.
is like a time when you actually need your partner or help.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's unfortunate, but it is a very high divorce rate. So
Very high.
because it's hard. I mean,
It's
every
hard.
day you're expected to make life-changing decisions.
Yes.
And like you're saying, you're sleeping with these worries and these concerns and anxious thoughts, and plus then you get up in the morning, and then you have to go to all the therapy appointments and doctor appointments, because you don't want to miss any opportunity, right?
Yes. And then that's how our life changed. Looking back now, where we're at, I'm glad that I was on my own, because it's too much of the babying, want to baby away autism, or
Yeah.
he's back into their lives, because I never shut that door. Right? Because a father's a father, never shut that door.
Right.
But it's all the babying. I was like, oh, come here, princess. And it's like, no. She has a mind.
Right.
She could think, and
Right.
she's very capable. But she eats it up very good.
Well, and it's hard to say like the right thing about that necessarily, but I understand.
Yes.
But I agree with you that sometimes we find that kids with special needs, we don't really understand their capable, or we don't give them room
Yes.
to demonstrate what they're capable of.
Yes.
I think
Yes.
did you see that video that came out, it was like in the last year? It was for Down syndrome, where this girl was like, they showed her first where she was like at a bar, and then they gave her a drink, and it was like a kiddie cocktail, and then she like went out and, I don't know, she did a bunch of things, but then they turned it around, and then they showed her as an adult. She's like, no, I should be able to go to a bar and order a drink if I want to, because
Yes.
she's like, you know, who are you to tell me what my limits are?
Yes.
And I really thought that was really cool.
And I think that we as parents, because I was guilty of that in the beginning.
'Cause you wanna protect
wanna
them.
shelter her,
Yeah.
right? And no, because Bianca did not speak. That was one of the other things. I'd never thought that she was going to be able to talk. So she just didn't want to talk, and she'd make noise and stuff. And I go, oh my gosh, if something happens to my daughter, she doesn't speak. How can she tell me?
Right.
And so we were looking into sign language, but then when she was, I think, 9 years old, she started to talk.
Amazing.
She just started to talk, and we just...
You must have just lost it.
Well, we're jumping and we're celebrating because we
Yeah.
do that a lot on the little milestones.
Oh my, no, you should celebrate every
Yes,
moment.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am, we do. And our
Yeah.
house is dancing. We love
I
music
love it.
and
Keep
dancing. Yeah, that's what we do. And so when she started talking, but I was afraid. I was afraid of just the unknown until I was little by little. And even though the spectrum is grand and it's wide in the autism world, and that maybe the characteristics are the same, but it's your child. Each one of them have their own individuality, right? And so once you get to know them, it's good, but not everybody know your child.
That's right.
And so that's kind of like one of my major goals is just I love talking about it. I will talk till the end of the earth, because how are people going to know
Right.
if they don't ask questions or find out, or if you don't feel comfortable enough to talk about it?
Right.
My daughter's not an embarrassment. My daughter's a human being. She has a name. She's a person. And I love people to get to know my daughter.
She just has a different way of communicating. That's it.
Absolutely.
And different doesn't mean wrong. Different just means
Absolutely.
different.
Yes. And our motto is, where different is an amazing way of life.
Oh,
Yes.
I love that.
We have it in my house. Yes, where different is an amazing way of life.
Yeah, it's
That's
just,
how I look at it.
And that's how we have creativity.
Yes, ma'am.
That's how we have things that are, you know, I don't know, unique and special.
Yes.
Yeah, I love that.
Yes.
So it sounds like you guys got some great supports as she grew up.
Yes.
And so is there anything in particular you want to share with others, just to like things that you thought were really helpful?
I think what was helpful was, one of the things for us is she started going to the school called Berger in Garden City, and it was great because it encompasses her, you know, her needs and her wants, and also help her socialize, her
Right.
social skills, and that was great. So what helped me out was the teacher. We had a notebook coming back home, back and forth. So I would write at night how the evening went for us, what happened, what didn't happen, what I thought, and then it would go to, you know, her teacher. They would read it, and they would have an idea if she would go in and, you know, not cooperative
Yeah.
in the morning or stuff. They knew that something happened
So
or
they could
whatever.
prepare.
Yes.
Yeah.
And even in the morning, I would write how our morning went. So then they would write down how her day went. And so then I started finding out, so how do you guys, when she gets into her modes of not wanting to cooperate and just wants to go in a corner and doesn't, what do you guys do as far as rewarding her when she does things good? Or if I have to tell her to take a time out, because for her, time out, she doesn't mind. She likes being by herself.
Right.
Right? So
That's
our
what you
time,
described.
yes. Because our time out for Bianca was not go sit over there and think about what you did. Our time was, oh, you're going to sit with us and now you're going to color, because she didn't like to be. So
Yeah.
she found it a form like, really? Do I have to sit? Yes. But knowing what they did in the reward system at school, I would do the same thing at home. Consistency was what she needs, right?
Yep.
And the balance. And that's how we were able. So that to me was a big thing. The school family was so important in my life with Bianca, so that we could both do the same thing. And I saw the change. I saw the difference. And it worked very well for us. And so if I was to tell a family, you know, really work with the teachers or the staff and things, and just express your wants. As a parent, I just used to be quiet and go with the flow. But then I was like, I'm her advocate. I'm her voice.
Right.
So I can't say if I saw something that I didn't think was right for her, I have to, it's okay to say, hey, can I talk to you for a minute?
Right, because just so even if that's okay for another student, it's okay. It's not okay for your student.
Yes.
And as a parent, you can say that.
Yeah. So I think in our journey, it's just people, and also in the medical field. You know, we went to Dr. Susan Young Center for Exceptional Family. And amazing. It encompassed the whole family. I mean,
That's so great.
They help with my daughter, Brianna. They have a sip shop. So to
Which
show,
is so important because the
Yes.
siblings just sometimes get lost.
Yes, ma'am. And she loved it. She was waiting for that because then they would express their feelings and they didn't feel alone. They knew that other people, other siblings were going through the same thing. You know, it's always about these doctors and the doctor's appointments and the therapies and all of that. So that really helped out.
That's so important that they feel like they're heard as well.
Yes.
That's beautiful.
Yes.
So it sounds to me like what I'm hearing you say is having that great communication with the school was really important for you guys, as well as having these wraparound supports from, it sounds like the Center for Exceptional Families was, I want to say medical, but it was more like supportive.
Oh, yes.
Like
It's
therapeutic
an
and
amazing
supportive.
program.
Yeah.
They have social workers. I mean, the doctor's phenomenal, Dr. Susan. They got social workers. They got, the IEPs, everything that encompasses a family that is starting in this journey of this world of the unknown.
Yes.
That's what I always call it, the world of the unknown in the beginning. And they help you through it. And they'll let you sit in one of the meetings and you're bawling.
And that's great.
Yes.
Because honestly, you got to let that out.
Yes.
Because this is the thing I always say, just because, and again, I'm only speaking from my personal lived
Yes.
experience. It's grieving. Because you think like you want this other thing because that's what everybody tells you you're supposed to want this, this kid that's a certain way. And it's like, well, no, my kid is different. And like you said, it's that whole unknown that it's scary.
Yeah.
You're like, well, what does that mean? I don't know what a quote unquote meaningful life is. I don't know what, the clear path is because it's going to be different.
Yeah, like today we're just talking about it is what we have lived, what we have experienced.
Right.
We could talk about,
Right.
and we could talk about what helped us, and hopefully that can help another parent. There was a lot of advice I got, and there were good advice that I could take, and there was some that I couldn't because it didn't work, but I tried.
Yeah.
And you just don't know.
No, you don't.
And one of the things that I really, 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 I really enjoy was when I could meet other parents, right? And we talked about that, the grieving, because my daughter didn't have no emotions for me.
Yeah.
And I didn't have the hug,
Yeah.
and I didn't have the cuddles.
And the I love yous and
Yes. And I would just go to the bathroom at night and I would bawl because my daughter she doesn't look at me.
Right.
When I give her a kiss, it's like, don't touch me. And that's hard for any mom.
It is so hard.
Because they talk about, the first years and the bonding
Yes.
with your child.
But with all the work that you do,
Yes.
you're getting all that affection so that it makes that connection and makes it worth it. Yeah.
And so it's gotten way better now because she's gotten social.
Yeah.
And we've worked hard. And it's wonderful. And I love when she holds me now. But at that time, it was a grieving. She's
Yeah.
like, it was like, oh my gosh. Yeah.
But it's so great you had that place. Just the one example you gave us, which is the Center for Exceptional.
Yeah.
But having a place where you could be heard
Yes.
and be listened to, and if you needed to express emotions, you could because everybody understood.
Yeah, that's why I tell
so
everyone.
safe.
B was really her name. We call her B.
Love it.
Bianca. I call her B. She was very. God has been very good to us as far as. And me saying this is not that everything was always happy-go-lucky. I mean, a lot of tears, a lot of challenges, a lot of days. I can't do this. I'm not gonna do this. How can I do this?
Yeah.
Oh my God! But the wonderful thing is, we had the school, which Berger, which was amazing, and the teachers and the staff, and then we have the Center for Exception, and then we have the families.
Yes.
We have the other parents.
All the people that you're meeting and
Yes.
connecting with and what they're trying and what
Yes.
they're doing.
And
And then maybe even Bianca has friends.
Yeah.
'Cause-
And my daughter Brianna, I gotta say,
You can-
my
you can
daughter
say.
Brianna, my daughter Brianna was that the angel that I said that came to be on my side, to give me the strength to say, Mama, we got this and we could do this. She was never angry or upset or, oh, why always her? She was always, Mama, what can we do? How can we help Bianca? So even though she was the youngest, she was always the oldest, right? And she's been my source of strength, my best friend. Everything that Bianca has in social part aspect and all the, she would get her, she goes, BB, when you're in front of somebody, you say hi if they say hi. It's
Right.
okay.
Right.
So I have to credit and give her a lot of the credit because she was the one that really helped me on that area with Bianca. So
What a blessing.
Yeah, at first I didn't think I had a village and I thought I was always by myself.
Right.
Until then I realized, sometimes I sit and reflect and I said, I've always had a village. It's been amazing.
That is so important too,
And
to
if
have
any
people.
parents can hear this, it's just really, I've had to have people that are not my immediate family become family.
Yeah. If you're found family.
Yeah. And it's okay to be vulnerable when you have to. It's okay to cry. It's okay to laugh. It's okay. You don't have to go and tell the whole world. But if you feel like you need to talk, please don't hold it inside. Mm-hmm. There's always someone that really does understand.
Yeah, and I think what I love what you're sharing about this, Mireya, is just like you need to find. It's on you though. You need to find your.
Yes.
You need to find your people, and
Yes.
it's hard.
Yes.
But it's possible.
Yes, absolutely, 100%.
So if you wouldn't mind, what would you say was one of your plan a house moments where you, as a parent, had to make the impossible possible for your family?
Oh, wow. That's a beautiful question, and I have meditated on it. And I think for me the impossible was Bianca was transitioning out of school.
So was she
Into
26?
26.
Okay.
She was able to go.
So here in Michigan, everybody, you guys probably don't, I know, but I've said it before, but you can go to school until you're 26 with an intellectual or developmental disability.
Yes.
And so it sounds like that's what Bianca did.
Yes. They wanted to change it at one point in time to the age of 21. I heard about it, and I was one of those crazy moms. For the first time, I'm very shy, even though I'm talking here, but I went to Lansing. And when they were trying to propose it, I made a letter and I put a picture of Bianca on it. And I said, she is not a statistic. She is not a diagnosis. She's a human being. And I just asked all of the councilmen or representatives that were there that day, I said, I just want you guys to answer one question. How many of you sitting out there has a loved one or a family member or a daughter who has autism or any other kind of diagnosis like that, for you to be able to make a decision that's going to alter their life when you don't even know what their life looked like?
That's right.
So I just started talking about who Bianca is and how our day goes. And when it finished, all I know, I went to Senator Carl Levin and a couple of them, and I said, they go, well, and I said, no. You cannot do that to our kids. They wanted to take out the parapro and just leave 10 students to a teacher. Okay, you guys go for one day. Get off of your seats and just go and see.
Just observe.
Thank you.
Yes.
So they didn't change it, so thank God she was there.
Yeah, but they could have.
They could have.
So thank you.
Yes.
Thank you for advocating, because like what you did is you didn't just advocate for Bianca, you advocated for all of us and all of us who come behind Bianca.
Because this is how I view life, and that's that plant a house moment. I would tell you the struggle, but the plant a house moment for me was, I'm very quiet or whatever, but if I can be a voice, I'm just not a voice for my daughter Bianca. I'm a mom, just like any mom, and dads, because there's dads that are very also part of that struggle like I do, and don't feel like they have a voice, whether it's because of language barrier, however it may be. I don't look at my fight for B as just for B. I do it for every single parent, household that has an individual with any type, I call it special abilities.
Yes.
Because if I can use my voice at that moment, I know it's not just gonna affect B, it's gonna affect everyone. And so the introvert has become extrovert. I will take it as long as it's gonna help somebody. And our plant a house moment in the struggles that I had was, what do we do now that Bianca got all her social skills, independent skills, confident through going to school every single day?
Yep.
And now that's gonna stop.
It just ends.
It ends.
It's
There's
a
not.
cliff.
It's not like, oh, but you know what? We got this program.
Right.
And it's okay.
Right.
And we'll introduce her. It's like, oh, she's 26, certificate. We love you guys. Thank you so
See
much.
ya.
See ya.
Yep.
And you're like, what do you mean, see ya?
They're like, there might be these programs, I don't know, go check them out.
Yes, exactly. I went to 12 different programs.
Lord.
And I went to every single one, and I asked questions. And if I go into a place and the staff is not nice, and it's not making me feel welcome, what do I expect is going to happen to me every time she has to walk through these doors?
Right.
No. When I go to work, I expect respect. I give respect. She deserves respect too. So it was crazy. So that to me was the hardest part of this whole thing. And she did start a program, which I will not mention, because it is a very good program. It's not that it's bad, but I think the staff didn't know how to handle certain things.
Yeah.
And it didn't work for B. It works for many people, and it is a great program.
Right.
But, you know, it didn't work for her.
Right.
So what I had to do was I decided to then do a nonprofit.
Tell me about that.
Okay. So it's called Just For Me.
So what is it?
And so the reason with the name was that Bianca, I said, B, I'm going to do a program where you and your friends are going to be there. You're going to socialize, have fun. You're going to build relationships and stuff. And we're going to get out and do things. And she goes, Just For Me, Mom? So that's where the Just For Me came.
I love that. That is so great.
But then when I told the parents and the other young adults, one of the young adults said, oh, Just For Me? And I said, this was
You're
perfect.
like, this is exactly the right name.
Yes, yes. And what it is about, it is just getting them together in a social setting. We're starting to work in volunteering in the communities, any communities. Like we want to get out there in the gardens that are being done because they like to do hands-on. And what I love about our young adults, when you give them a task, you have to see, don't talk to them, please, because they got a task.
They're busy, they're focused.
Please. And they'll let you know, excuse me, I'm working right now. Oh, I'm so sorry to bother you. So I want to get them out in the community. So we have, every week we get together on a Zoom. That's the way I can get to see them. That's the way we can get. We have 3 that is nonverbal.
Okay.
Mom says the tablet is right there, and they make sure Mom puts that tablet on because at 5 o'clock every Monday we're going to do a Zoom. And I just get to talk, how was your week? Does anybody got anything new? Sometimes one of them come in and they're angry or whatever life has thrown them, and and I sit back and they help each other through whatever he's going through oh, we're so sorry you feel that way. And that's the part that's the link, right?
Yeah.
That social skills and the confidence and the independence, problem solving, which is very difficult for our young adults. They're very hard. They don't know what to do in certain things. So I want to develop in them, keep developing those social skills, confidence, independence. And so we started off with 2, me and the mom that was out, brought me today, Raquel, her son and my daughter. We just went out, just started hanging out. So 2 moms heard about it. Can we join? Sure, come and join. And when I came to see, they go, you got to do a 503. You have to do some. And I'm like,
So for people listening,
sorry.
so 501c3 is a nonprofit designation.
Yes.
But go ahead.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you.
No, you're all
Sometimes I
good.
just ramble.
No, I love it. Keep
but
going.
Thank you. And so I was like, but I don't know anything about nonprofits. I don't know what to do. And they go, but you're doing it.
Right. You're doing the work. You're just not getting compensated.
Yes, and I was like, okay. And so all we do, so I get it. We just celebrated last year 5 years together.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So we started 2, and we got 25 young adults. And
Wow.
I just went to meet 2 other ones who are going to start next week. So it just the whole vision of our nonprofit is for our young adults. When they age out from the ages of 18 on up, when they age out, it's just for them to know they are important. They belong. There is a village.
Yeah.
They can make friends. They can go out. They can have a social life. They can become independent. They can come out and volunteer and be productive citizens in their communities. They can. And that's what our group is about.
Well, don't we all want connection?
Absolutely.
Right? I mean, they say the leading cause of death, it might be heart disease, or whatever. Honestly, it's loneliness.
Thank you.
And that contributes to stress, which contributes to all the other diseases,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And so you're building these connections so that they can have lifelong friendships And again, the things that disappear without the infrastructure of the schools.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's such a laid-back environment. They don't have to pay to become a member. I couldn't pay
Which is huge because
Yes.
a lot of these programs are expensive after those kids get out of school. And
Yes.
that's not fair when you're talking about kids on SSI. I keep
Yes.
saying kids, but young
'Cause
adults.
to us,
I know,
I call
and I
them
shouldn't call them
kids
kids.
too.
But young adults, they're getting, I'm saying, so they're getting benefits from the government, and so they do not have a lot of money.
No.
Or any money, for that
No.
matter, depending if they
No.
work or not.
No, and for me, it's very important. What I want is if I can educate people on getting to know our young adults. And when I say educate, it's not, it's saying, come around us.
Yeah.
Don't feel afraid. Don't be afraid. They're not fragile. They're not going to
just
break. They're just
different.
human beings.
Yeah.
And they just view life differently.
That's right. Not wrong, just different.
Yes, just
Yeah.
different. And we're so used to society saying this is how things are supposed to be all of our lives, right? That when we see something that doesn't fit into what we normally think, oh my God, and we're like, oh, we're afraid of it. So I want to just let people know, let's get close to them.
Right.
And once we get close to them, a lot of people go, oh my God, I had so much fun with them.
Yes.
Guess what I do every time I'm with them? I have fun.
And you guys probably dance too.
Oh my gosh. Music and dance and karaoke is the number one thing that has to always be in everything we do.
Why not?
Yes.
Why not?
Yes.
I love that. And I think that as we get older, we forget how important it is to play.
Yes.
So you guys are integrating that all the time, and I
Yes.
think that's fantastic.
Yes. So planting a house, to me, and what you do in this platform that you have created to let us talk about this, it just warms my heart, and I thank you for giving us the opportunity to do so, because we are all planting a house. That's what we're doing, the seeds, and they're growing. And instead of how it's these homes that we create and these relationships everlasting, and it's just amazing.
We're planning these lives, right?
Yes.
And the other thing I'll say, because I know it's time for us to wrap up a little bit, but the thing I will also lastly say is that, because at the end of the day, if everything goes right, we're not going to be here. Right, because our kids will outlive us, as they
Yes.
should. And so we're trying to get their lives to a place that they truly can have happiness
Yes.
and a meaningful life
Yes.
that's good for them, whether it be what other people expect or not. It's right for them.
It's right for them.
Yeah.
And if we create the village now for them, they're not going to be alone.
That's right.
They're not. And they have these wonderful relationship, friendships that have created, that I sit back and moms are taking it's beautiful. They
is.
call each other. Before, nobody would even call them to go have pizza or go to the movies, and now they do all of these stuff.
And now they don't feel alone.
No, they don't.
It's amazing.
Yes.
Well, I want to thank you so much, so much for
my
coming on the
gosh,
show
you're more
today
than
and sharing
welcome.
your story. And I know that people are going to find this inspirational.
Thank
And I
you.
hope that they reach out to you in the nonprofit if they have someone that's interested in
I
being a
hope
part
so.
of that. So basically, you're looking for kids that are over 18 and over,
Yep.
right? Yep.
Ages 18 and over don't have to pay to be a member.
Wonderful.
All they have to do is just give me a call. I'll have a talk with them. If the parents want me to go visit them at their house so they can get to see me, absolutely get on the Zoom. Once they start the Zoom, and it doesn't matter where you live, doesn't matter what part of the county, none of that matters. None of your finances, it doesn't come to play. It's just having young adults know that we exist, come on in, be a part of a village and a community that love them, that understand them, that they'll grow together. That's what this is about.
So for anybody listening, again, it's Just For Me Social Club. And if you can't find any information, you can always reach out to me, because I'll be more than happy to make that connection for you guys. So again, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me, love. I appreciate it.
It's been wonderful.
Yes.
And for those of you listening in, thank you so much for joining us today. I also hope you will consider subscribing, leaving a review, or sharing this podcast with others who may find it meaningful.
Yes.
And join us next time on Let's Plant Houses. Take care.